Welcome, welcome, welcome to another eventful evening. One and only Andrew from Slightly Unqualified, joined by two very underqualified gentlemen. We got Steven, the top left, and Matt up at the top right. I'm just kidding.
What
How you
up,
guys' week been?
people? Mine's been pretty good, man. Been blessed with good weather. It got a little warm, but it's not super hot just yet. Um,
It's getting there
yeah,
though.
the week's been amazing so far. Work's been good. Been able to catch up, play some new COD, new Fortnite. So yeah, it's going pretty good. What about you, Matt?
Cool week, cool week. Can't complain, can't complain. What's new? Honestly, I started watching Ted Lasso and just been binging it every single day of my life this last week. So
Heard really
I
good things
it's
about.
I have too.
my shout out to Keck out there because he's the person I know that watched that show and he would brag about it a lot and I just clown him for watching any Apple TV Plus content because it was such
Right.
trash in the beginning.
Yeah.
But Ted Lasso it's good from like episode 1 on. It's just fantastic. So
Hmm.
sorry, Keck, and I apologize for mocking you back then, but if that was Apple's one good show, that's definitely the one.
Yeah.
I'm almost worth keeping Apple TV Plus now, like paying for it or not, just because of that show. If they keep it going,
Oh wow. I've seen some clips of it. It's really inspiring and like the things he says are really pretty. It's like memorable, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, it's pretty good. What I've seen.
That's awesome. I've never seen anything of it. Like Matt, I've heard a lot of good things. Just never gotten around time to sitting down and watching it. But let's jump into it. We got a lot to unpackage tonight.
Yes, we
got,
do, boys.
There's going to be lots of Star Wars talk. Real quick,
lot of
we're going to
Star
go
Wars.
through Star Wars
Yeah.
Celebration, some of the things that were announced, some things that we're excited for, some of the things that we're getting, whether we like it or not. We got a episode of The Mandalorian to talk about. What else? We got some Harry Potter. Let's give up for some Harry Potter.
Yo, Theo's in the chat. Let's
Boo,
go.
Harry Potter, boo.
Hey, you simmer down.
You better put some respect on, Hufflepuff over here. You know what I'm saying?
I think
I
you
have
would
gripes,
like.
I have gripes, but
Oh, we'll get there. Unless you want to start there, I'm okay with starting.
Yeah,
there.
let's start. I think the Harry
Hey,
Potter news is going to
listen.
go faster than the
since the Harry Potter stuff is like one gonna go quickly, and two, not a part of like the rest of the episode. It's gonna be so Star Wars
Let's get it out of
dominant.
the way.
I said we just start with it.
All right,
Yeah,
let's do
for
it.
sure.
All right, so there have been lots of rumors, leaks, talking, speculation. It sounds like Warner is coming to an agreement with J.K. Rowling about doing a whole series reboot, books 1 through 7, each book having its own season. Uh, let's start with your thoughts on it, Sir Stephen.
So I'm stoked. Anything Harry Potter, I'm in. I'm not gonna lie. After the last movie, what was it? The Dumbledore movie?
Yeah,
What was it called?
Secrets of
Something
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you on everything.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you. I wasn't happy about that movie. So any kind of Harry Potter content since then, I've been super ecstatic with the game. Amazing. The way that they're moving towards wanting to do a season for every book or in between, I think is genius because then they could tell that story and know that there's a start time and an end time. So that gives them a good time of wrapping that up. Where like when we had Game of Thrones, the show was past the books, and then it was like a weird thing. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm sold.
Yeah, so I think it's important to note that the Warner came out and said we stand with J.K. Rowling because if you think of like a lot of this Fantastic Beasts, not all of it. It's been more of like inspiration. She hasn't really been too much a part of it, other than having her name and some credits, and her name gradually got smaller and smaller. But this is exciting because personally, I think we're going to get so much more detail than we got in the movies. Some of the cool things that I'm excited to see. I hope they do like more around the ghosts. Like we got a taste of the ghosts in the first, the Sorcerer's Stone, but there's so much more that they go into detail. There's parties that the Golden Trio goes to. I don't think we ever got like a Peeves character in the movies. Maybe we saw like a brief cameo, but just to see him wreaking havoc on the students and the teachers, that'll be fun to see. Mr. Skeptical, what are your thoughts? I know you got some hesitation.
Yeah. I don't know. So 7 seasons, but a 10-year journey. What does that mean? No clue what that means. Does that mean we're gonna have seasons leaking into another year, multiple times? I have no clue. But 7 seasons, 10-year journey sounds like either a damn lot of episodes, which if it's gonna be fleshed out, it should be. Or it means something in between that they aren't announcing yet, which is fine. They can announce that later date if they need to. But I think where I'm stuck at, and it makes me sick that you boys are just folding already so quickly with any kind of Harry Potter news, is that both of us here, specifically asked for
Marauders
non-reboot things regarding the Wizarding World. And what did they give us? A reboot thing. And just because it's longer and more detailed, the Harry Potter fans, I'm not going to say you guys directly because I don't really know per se, but are salivating. We can't wait. But then it's like, okay, we're getting into the Star Wars bubble where you're just repeating the same characters again and again. And I don't want to see that anymore. I'm trying to see the Marauders. I'm trying to see the first Wizarding War, the in-between of the first Wizarding War, all that stuff. So it's not that like I'm skeptical it's going to be good or bad. The quality is going to be there. It's HBO. HBO doesn't have like, in terms of TV shows, Warner has great products across the board with HBO specifically. So like I'm not like too worried about the quality of content coming from it, and I think it'll be good. I just don't want a 10-year journey of the same kind of general story because it is. The plot points are the same, and then we get nothing else to supplement our extra cute. Like there's when you put the word world on things, the Wizarding World, there's more to the world than just these kids and their journey.
True.
So if you're gonna give us 10 years of this, is it just this for 10 years now? What else are we getting besides this small part of a giant world? It's the same complaints I have with like Star Wars, where it's a great big universe and a galaxy far, far away. The galaxy is way bigger than one family. So I'm not skeptical about like the content. I think it'll be fine, and I'm gonna watch it. I think a fledged out Harry Potter series with like actually pretty good child actors instead of the ones that we got before is gonna be good. I think we have a lot more room to like get into the weeds of things that like I had gripes about, like you talked about, is like as a person that hasn't read the books before, there was a lot missing for me that I was like, this doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
Like, why not Dumbledore just do this, or this, or why not Snape do this, or the Mad Eye Moody thing like was kind of rushed. So like all that stuff like would be more fledged out, and for newcomers to the show or series, it'd be more understanding. So I'm excited to see that piece of it. I heard like some of the things like the ball was like super watered down compared to like what,
or
like
even like the Quidditch World Cup. Like we could actually have a Quidditch World Cup. That would be cool.
Right. Those things, the Triwizard Tournament, they can take up multiple hour-long episodes instead of a 20-minute segment in a encompassing film. So there's a lot of good there. Don't get me wrong, and I think it's gonna be good. I have no complaints about the show itself and the quality of the show. My complaint is it just 10 years of this same story we've already seen, or we know the end goal, or are we getting stuff in between there? It's going to be supplemental with this other overarching thing. Are they scrapping the entire Fantastic Beasts series because the fourth and fifth film haven't been picked up still? So
I think those are done. I think it's just they're cutting it, and you have valid arguments. I will say, if Warner is smart, here's what they do as a avid Harry Potter fan. Steven, you can give me your thoughts after I kind of go over what, if I was in total control, here's what I would do. So to Matt's point, this is a story that I've seen multiple times from beginning to end. It's got a very strong fan base. How do you do it in a way where you're giving fresh content to old fans? And so what I think Warner needs to do is take a different perspective, not necessarily on how it's shot or filmed, but focusing on things that we didn't really get to see that are in the books. Like really, really they need to hire someone who's just going to dissect the books and dissect the movies and say, hey, this was something awesome that we missed that needs to be flushed out, and then give us longer episodes regarding that so it helps fill those gaps that the movies have. because then you have a story that can be connected together and still appreciate the original, but now you're seeing it from a different perspective. Because if you think about it, when the movies were coming out, the books weren't done. So there wasn't like this long connected, this is how it's going to end. That's completely out the window now because we know beginning, middle, and end. So what are your thoughts on that, Steven?
So I have two things. I do want to take it back exactly what I said. I'm excited for Harry Potter news, but I do agree 100% with Matthew when it comes to regurgitating the same kind of stuff with the timeline. We're all fans of Harry, Hermione, and Ron. Like, we're fans of that. And I think that's what we're excited about. But we also, as fans, wanted to experience what a Tuesday looked like in Hogwarts. You know what I mean? When something wasn't going crazy.
More classes.
We're all into it. I do agree with Matt, though. You can't sell us on a small sliver of time. You know what I mean? A person that's kind of like what Star Wars is going through right now. I was watching one of the interviews with one of the creators, and they were saying that we need to jump out of these longer shows where someone has to watch all these movies to watch this episode or this show. Like, we need to get away from that. And I feel like if the Harry Potter is doing what they're saying they're going to do, I'm excited that there's news, but I do agree with Matt in this. They need to, I don't want to have to tell somebody who's never seen Harry Potter, oh, you get to go watch this movie, then wait for go watch HBO for the next season, then go back to the movie season. I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. And maybe my point got kind of misconstrued there. I wasn't saying that it would be, you have to do both to understand, but you'd get a fresh perspective while still appreciating what the movies gave. And I think that's very doable, because obviously the three of us have talked very deeply about wanting to see a Marauders. Now that this is a season or a season-based show, season 3 could go way into the Marauders and give us.
But why not just give us a Marauders show?
I mean, they could. That could easily come.
No. We're not spinning off of this. Just give me the show. You have enough fandom. 100%. You have enough fandom.
Curiosity.
People that are going to tune in, that are going to be like, okay, I'm going to watch this show regardless. I guarantee you the same amount of fans that are going to tune into this new Harry Potter show would be the same amount of fans that are going to tune into a Marauder show without having to have this show first.
Totally.
So, like, just give us that first. Like, give us that.
You know how many people want to see the love story, that love triangle? You know what I mean? That love triangle is going to sell it, dude. With the love triangle, I could sit down with my wife and watch it. I'm not saying girls are the only people into love things like that. You know, there's some dudes who are into it too. But it brings more to it than just another sophomore year of Hogwarts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
Wait. I just want to clear this one up.
Sure.
I do think the J.K. Rowling is. I don't think she's the one involved, head person. She's blessing it, but I think they need to take a step out of Star Wars' book and just go to. They just need to go to the future, the past, and give us 3, 5, 6 seasons of just lore. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. You get to show us the war. You get to show how Hogwarts. There's not flashbacks. I think this is your. You don't have to stick to a certain timeline. You don't have to stick to a certain person. You can introduce whoever, whenever, and get more people excited.
Yeah. And I think too, to build off of what you just said, is I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. So, like you were saying, in terms of like, damn, it's in my mind. Hold on, I'm trying to think.
Good.
This is bad podcasting. I apologize.
While you're thinking, let me say my piece. I understand that there's a massive fan base, and pretty much anything Wizarding World, you're gonna get good response to, but I think it's got to be done with JK's vision, because point in case, you have the Fantastic Beasts, which personally I like. I think the movies kind of dropped off in quality because they didn't know how to fill the gaps, but that's because they were doing it without the creator.
Yeah.
So I think this potentially could open up the door to getting all these things that we're talking about. Yes, it would be in multiple shows or series. I'm okay with that, and I think from a business standpoint, that makes sense in terms of longevity of it being successful. If this show starts and it does really well, that's just going to give more reinforcement to Warner to say, all right, let's greenlight another.
Yeah. Like I would. Oh, go for it, man.
I'm gonna just step out on a limb here and kind of. I'm gonna say what we're all trying to say here, okay? I'm gonna come through with it, okay? Let me just get right to the bones of this situation, all right? The reason why I'm doing this again is because J.K. Rowling has no clue what to do outside of this storyline, okay? You can talk
100%.
about how she's not involved in Fantastic Beasts all you want. The bottom line is J.K. Rowling didn't, the same way Lucas didn't anticipate his movies to get so big when he make this whole grand world in it. J.K. never thought he had to think this far ahead of these 3 kids. So when they approached her with, hey, let's get something fresh, she said no, but do it yourself. It's your property at this point. And they messed up her quote unquote continuity. I don't think she has continuity. I don't think she knew anything outside of there was going to be this first Wizarding War where these parents were involved with. No details whatsoever, except for like the main villain's going to be the same guy. Their son's going to come back and he's going to avenge them. That's all she thought about. I don't think she has this crazy world building experience that like people think she does because she has a set of 7 books that follow the same 3 kids doing the same end goal at the end of the day. And when they tell her, hey, bring us something fresh and new, she goes, how about we just do 10 years of this again?
So I think there's merit to what you're saying, but also I feel like there's still so much that was left untouched that if you go back, TV series wasn't the way to transform books into viewable content. So in the 2000s, it was all about getting it to the big screen. That's where the money
back
was.
In our day, that's what you mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, sure.
Back at the peak of Harry Potter.
Yeah. To where I don't even think that was on the table of let's do it as a show because it's so long. I think if you go back and you think those even TV shows back then, they were horrible in the sense of design, looks, CGI, all that stuff. I think she now is seeing, hey, here's an opportunity to really let my vision fully be shown on a screen versus having to chop it up and say, hey, we only have this amount of time. Here's the select parts that are going to make cohesive sense, but it's still going to be you're going to have to rely on reading the books too.
Yeah. I get that. I think it's a valid point, but it's already set in stone. There's not enough time in between each book in the story for them to do a whole season on. I feel
10
like
years is crazy.
Yeah, I think
10 years is that crazy.
That's nuts.
But right now, would you rather see what Ron and Harry doing during PE, or would you have rather see the beginning of Voldemort and how that started? You know what I mean? Or
that's the thing, though, that I think
there's so much new content they could be pouring in, and yet they're just trying to show us details of like what they did during spring break.
What's a good example of this whole situation? Like I can give you a picture perfect way of how this should be handled for both Star Wars and Harry Potter.
The
Lord of the Rings did it perfectly. Their movies are what they are, right? There's a lot of stuff missing from the book, although they were much longer films. There wasn't 7 of them or 8 of them. But they're good movies for what they are. Absolutely. Harry Potter, good movies for what they are. Original Star Wars, good for what they are. Okay? But Harry Potter didn't do this, but both Star Wars and Lord of the Rings fast forward past their prime, and they put out another film, right? The Hobbit and those trilogies. Say what you want about The Hobbit and about it not being accurate or not being your preference of the 2 franchises. It's good. It's a good set of films at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
And Star Wars tried the same thing. Didn't work out the way we wanted to. There was a bunch of mess going on there. Give them a pass for that. But then we fast forward to the Rings of Power, which we just got a couple months ago, if not half a year ago. And they focused on the precursor to Sauron before Lord of the Rings and before The Hobbit. And so because of that, it's more fleshed out, detailed story. But they didn't say, let's just redo Lord of the Rings for 3-4 years to get 1 year per book or whatever. They said, no, Lord of the Rings is what it is. That's in the continuity of this thing. Let's just make everything around it, because this is a giant world. Fantasy world is huge. You can do whatever you want with it. And let's just build off of it. And they did a freaking chef's kiss of a job in the Rings of Power.
All right, so we got to time out because I got to address Ezekiel. I think that this is a big crutch, that the idea that the public is never going to accept another Harry, Hermione, and Ron, because one, love Daniel Radcliffe. Let me preface this. These movies are so special because they came out on my birthday. Like, I was the same age as Harry was turning on screen.
That's
so like,
fire. That's dope.
I relate to this because it's like I felt like I was a part of it. I'd go and see it for my 11th birthday, 12th birthday, 13th birthday. I will be ecstatic to see a more book accurate Harry Potter than there is that Daniel could portray, because for as much talk as you have your mother's eyes, he didn't have his mother's eyes in the movies at all. Like, that made no sense. So
I know.
Give us a green-eyed Harry Potter. I think it gives us an opportunity to do a different style scar, to where, imagine like a string of lightning bolts across his face that makes it more modern looking versus just like a little squiggle.
I hope it's not excessive like that, but
yeah, I hope it's not either. I don't want to
asking for a Kylo Ren style scar.
I know. I just want
not
to
like across the
in
whole
the
face,
book.
but like
In the
instead
book,
of
it's
just like a.
Well, that's what it is in the book.
Yeah, but I mean, again, whatever it's gonna be, the biggest
And they
thing
covered
for
it
me
up
is
a lot,
the
but, yeah.
eyes. Give us something that's remotely similar to his mom, because
All right, so I guess in this is Matt's going, hey, tell us something new. You're saying, hey, let's get into the devil's in the details. I want to know some more details and fix some things that might be an issue.
And you want accuracy.
Yeah. So
and see, I'm a huge lore person. I got to go with Matt on this one. I'm sorry, Andrew, I got to leave you hanging.
No,
but I think Matt's right on this one. I think we need lore, man. I think lore is where is going to get new fans. It's going to get new characters. It's going to give a breath of fresh air, and it's going to drive. And if it works, I think if lore works, you could go on forever, baby. You can go after, pre. But if it doesn't,
and to me, it isn't even necessarily about like them redoing it. Okay, I think, like I said, I think the quality is going to be good, and I think I'm going to watch it. I think all three of us here are going to be very impressed by what they bring to the table. Totally. It's not about like the show itself. It's just like if this time was cut in half to 5 years, I probably wouldn't have that big of a problem with it. But you're trying to supplement an entire new generation's upbringing on this one show when it's like people that were watching this 10 years ago, they want something new as well. You gave us something new that's trash, apparently. I like them, but the majority of Harry Potter fans don't like the Fantastic Beasts series. It's call it what it is. People almost hate it for the most part.
Last two movies, I'm not fair enough.
Yeah, so I mean, like you're spitting you're not spitting in your fans' faces, but there's a way to do this where you're giving the new generation something fresh, right? They can still relate to the same age as kids are going to be in this show. The Marauders are going to be in their show. It's the same exact school with the same exact amount of years at the school. The same activities like the Triwizard Tournament, Quidditch. That guess what? That's been around Hogwarts since its inception. Therefore, you can do those things still. Like all the fun kiddie things, you could still do while giving your fans that have been here a long time something fresh that relates to their world already, not restart their world.
I will say it's not the risky play. It's a play it safe because we know it'll work. But again, I'm still banking on, with the amount of time that they're anticipating this, the building of lore can be there. And so specifically, if we're talking like book 6, where you learn the backstory of Voldemort, like that's what you want. It's there. We just never got to see it in the movie.
Yes.
We never got to see why he's so messed up, because his mom had him with a muggle under a love potion. That's all there. He physically can't feel love because that happened.
True.
So
Yeah.
I think the elements of new can still be there around the original story. And I think if I was JK, I'd say I want to tell my story exactly how I want it to be. I don't want to have to chop it into blocks, but still give more than what we ever got close to getting.
But no
Yeah.
author's doing that because they have 7 books worth to tell their story. That's the point of their books.
I get it. I guess we're gonna have to see how it rolls out and
It's gonna
see
be
what
good.
news comes out.
It's
It's gonna be
good.
good
It's
regardless.
It's gonna be fire.
I think we're on the same
Yeah.
page about like the details are going to be great. I think it is playing it safe by HBO is concerned, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm also going to applaud Warner for that because they've been risky with like DC and all that, and it has not worked out for them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
They
this is
just
going to
need
be a
like a
safe
solid
route.
win. Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
going to be their solid win. It's going to be
E-
good. I think. But
Even
Yeah,
with
for sure.
this will be the final thing before we switch into Star Wars because we got a lot of Star Wars to talk to.
a lot of
But
Star
if you
Wars.
think of it from a business perspective with Warner, they gambled on Fantastic Beasts, and they talking about expanding lore and world building. They did a great job of that, but not
Yeah,
enough
they did.
people appreciated that. I appreciated it,
I loved it.
but
Loved it.
it didn't work out in their favor. So I don't blame them for saying, let's go back to the roots. We know this works.
Yeah.
We know there's a fandom around it. Let's give them what they want by giving them more.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I just think
Yeah, I don't either.
they could have done more. But
All right, let's
I
jump.
digress.
They
Yeah.
will. All right, so let's swap topics into Star Wars because we got a lot to unravel. Let's start with Star Wars Celebration. Let's first talk about. Let's just get this one out there. So we got the Rey returning movie. Not necessarily Rey movie. We just know that there's a movie that's coming out where Rey is in it.
It's Rey's movie.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's Rey's
15
movie.
years later. She's rebuilding what is known of the Jedi Order. Gentlemen, the first question I have, do we want this? Is this what
Yes.
the people want?
That's what I want.
That's what you want?
Yes.
Another
So,
Skywalker
listen,
movie?
No,
Me-
this has nothing to do. That's my. See,
She is
my
Rey
point-
Skywalker. Rey
point is
Skywalker.
exact.
Skywalker.
My point is exact right here. Okay, the
She
Jedi
is.
Order
Say her
no
name.
longer fall. The Jedi Order now after this movie no longer rises or falls on a Skywalker's name, and
Except for Rey
that's
Skywalker.
brilliant.
Except for Rey Skywalker.
We're gonna. You guys are okay with her being Rey Skywalker? Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying.
Just making sure we're on the same page then about her not being a Skywalker. Then stop the BS. Okay.
She is.
Listen,
It's canon.
she's not-
It was spoken.
no, it's not.
The,
If I
the
say,
pre-
hey, I'm Matthew Shelley, does that mean I'm actually Matthew Shelley? No.
I mean,
I don't care if you raised me. You
this
didn't.
is a-
But I
this
don't
is
care
a
if you raised me or
slippery
not.
slope we're going down, my friend.
Yeah, my
Slippery
point is,
slope.
Yeah, we
My
saw that
point
too,
is,
Zeke. About
she
the
doesn't wanna
Rey
be a
being pregnant.
Palpatine.
I think it's fake.
okay, I wouldn't want to be Palpatine either. Therefore, she's just whatever she wants to be. Rey is her first name. Skywalker's her last name because that's just what she feels she needs to be. Okay.
Sure.
Last
She identifies as a Sky-
let's get out of this realm that she's a Skywalker because any Star Wars fan, including the 3 here, would say she is not a Skywalker just because she said she was.
Mhm.
All right. Let's get that out of the way. Stop the
Yeah,
BS. All right.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So,
we can
like
all
I
agree on
said,
that.
the Jedi Order now rises and falls on a different character. It's not a Skywalker. That's beautiful to me. It's peak Star Wars now. We're getting into territory where it's like we can build, we can move forward, we can rejoice. Leave that BS. She burned the temple. Actually, Luke burned the temple. Luke
did.
burned the temple.
Oh,
There's
I
no
mean,
more text
technically,
left.
it's Yoda. Yoda snapped his fingers.
Yeah, there's no more text left. What's left of the Jedi Scrolls is gone, which means that guess what? The Force leads the way now.
texts are still
There's
there.
the Force
not-
leads the way, not the
No
weird
way. I thought she
order.
took
We
the
need a
books with her.
fact check because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the text ended up in her ship somehow.
Yeah, she took the books.
All right,
Imagination.
I can tell we're getting heated on it, but we got to address the picture of pregnant Rey. I'm pretty sure that this was concept for Rise of the Skywalker for that final shot because it looks like it's on Tatooine too. So I think it's just someone pulled up concept art and now it's resurfacing now that it's been announced that she's going to be in
Yeah.
the movie. Yada yada yada. So
She that's a Skywalker.
that's
Yeah.
what she believes. So I see where you're coming from. Let's see a fresh take on what somebody else can do with it. My thought is that I don't know if she's going to be like the main character. I think she could be a character that's very important to the story. But
Oh,
you think she's going to
obviously,
be
yeah.
the main character? Like this is going to be Rey,
I
whatever
don't know.
movie.
I'm excited to see Ray again. I think Ray was the peak of the entire. Like as much as you want to talk about Ray and all the movie's shortcomings of plot points, Ray herself, like the character, and like Daisy Ridley was fine as Ray.
Yeah,
And,
Daisy,
like fine as in like a good actress, not like
absolutely.
good looking. So I'm
Good
excited to see
clarification.
Ray again, right? If they get Ray correctly done in this context of whatever this show is gonna or this movie is gonna be, it could be a really, really good character for them to build off of in terms of like
Mhm.
reestablishing her redemption arc. Same thing with like Finn.
Mhm.
Bring Finn back and make him better.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
there's
think
any
he's
chance
done.
that you're gonna get. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get him back.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing, the thing that I'm most worried about is, love it or hate it, Ray is a character that we didn't get a whole lot of development. It was just kind of like thrown at us.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
I feel like
time
it jumped
jump,
too fast.
yeah, a
too
time
fast.
jump is a little concerning because now you have the trying to think of the way to word it. You either have to go back and read comic books or books that are going to fill the gap to understand who she is, or you're just going to feel like, oh, this is that same character that never got any development. So that's a little bit what I'm skeptical on in terms of her. I have nothing against Daisy Ridley. I think she's a great actress. I think
Hate
this is not her fault at all. I think it was the writing of the
Yeah.
directors and definitely Kathy. Kathy's to blame.
Yeah. I hate that lady.
But
No, I think it's gonna be great, man. Like I said, new Star Wars content, I'm in. I love her. I was a big hater of the First Order, the
Force Awaken.
the Force Awaken. I was a big hater on it. After watching it for like the third or fourth time, I kind of enjoyed it. I do like her as a character. Like you said, I wish they would have gave her some more insight or gave us some more insight. But I don't know how I feel about her, and like I don't know if this is true yet, but they're saying that she's going to be rebuilding the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be going after looking for Force sensitive people.
Mm-hmm.
I just, how does she know what the Jedi Order is? You know what I mean? If
Right.
she's
my
never
point.
experienced it, any of that
My
jazz.
point
So it's going to
exactly.
be interesting to see how they let that unroll or they roll that out. But I'm in. I really enjoyed how she just walked off and we didn't get closure. So I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, here's the bottom line truth. Regardless
her.
of how we feel about I don't hate her. Regardless of how we
You
feel
dislike
about
her.
the sequels
You
or
don't follow her on
Ray
Instagram.
as a character, we're all gonna be seeing it, and there's gonna be a lot of people seeing the movie, even though they hate it.
Yeah.
I might not see it. see it.
Oh yeah, you might not if Thrawn
if
comes
Thrawn-
back.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
later on.
Yes,
But
yes,
everything we're talking
yes, I
about
forgot
right
about
now,
that.
everything we're talking about the next
Might
like
be
15,
completely
20
irrelevant
minutes,
in
I
your
might
life.
not be
Yeah.
able to even watch any of it.
Watch.
So.
Yes,
yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
So okay, hold on. We just
No,
gotta
we'll
put a pin in
we'll,
it.
we'll get to that.
We gotta
We'll
put
get
a
to
pin
it.
in that.
Put in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, I think this might be the first Star Wars movie that we're getting, though.
The Ray one?
Yeah.
No, I think the Acolyte is the first one.
Is Acolyte first? Because I thought it was
think so.
Ray, Acolyte,
Let me. I don't know for
the
sure.
first Jedi, then Filoni was last.
Yeah, Filoni's last, I know for sure.
His last,
But
yeah.
It looks like we're getting the 24th. We're getting another season of Kenobi and Andor. And,
So Ahsoka's next, obviously.
yeah, Ahsoka's next, and it says that her movie's
Oh, the
still in
Acolyte's a
development.
TV series. So yeah,
Yeah.
the only one, Taika Waititi's has been canceled. We know that.
Mhm.
Mangold, which is the ancient Jedi movie, that's
Yep,
when they
that's
announced.
the first Jedi.
Mhm.
Well, I think the Taika Waititi film they have put Rey's in there because Filoni's is right after that one, which means that it'll be before both of those. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also this one says Jedi Order movie. I don't know what's first. or not,
I think
but-
the Jedi Order one is the Ray one.
yeah, then that one would be after everyone but Filoni's.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. I think we can put a pin in the Ray movie. I'm sure we'll see her get to lift some rocks. That's one of her staples, just lifting rocks, throwing them around.
In what movie?
What are you talking about? She did it in Bolt in The Last Jedi, and she did it in The Rise of Skywalker.
What'd she do?
Lift
All
rocks
stone around her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, where she floats in the air?
Yeah.
That doesn't count. She's
Wait, what
meditating.
does it
What she
Literally
does.
meditating.
So let's talk about Acolyte, the series. What do you guys? What are your thoughts?
I don't know how I feel about this movie just yet.
The show, right?
TV show. I don't know how I feel yet. It's not really pulling me in where it's like I can't wait to watch it, but it's Star Wars content, so I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, I'm still on the rocks, or I'm not on the rocks. I'm still on the fence about how I feel about this.
You
The
want to
show.
be on the rocks.
Yeah, I do. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, so now that we've seen cast members, honestly, from the panel that I watched, it seemed like they were kind of all over the place. So I don't know if they are
What is
either.
like, what do you mean? What is all over the place?
Just responses to just questions that were asked, explaining details. It just felt like it was kind of scatterbrained. But I don't know if that's because they can't give too many details because they want to keep this like super tight lips like they've known to do, or if they just don't understand it yet.
Okay.
Just kind of the vibes that I got from watching the panel on it. And I was like,
Everyone, turn your headphones up when I speak right now, okay? Listen very closely to me when I say this.
listen,
Of all the things announced this weekend, that will be the best product to come out of this weekend.
yeah, someone clip that. So when it's not,
I
we can
think
play it
the
live.
Acolyte
Mhm.
is going to be fantastic. And let me just say 2 words why. I've been begging for it. I've been calling for it. We're finally getting it live action. High Republic. That is, if you ever read anything about the High Republic, like the canon stuff, like the comics, the books that are canon, that is by far, because the Old Republic hasn't been established yet, really. So
Mhm.
let's get that out of the way. But that is by far
Yeah.
the most entertaining part of Star Wars I've seen in years. The High Republic is everything coming out with that High Republic stuff, that's comic books or books wise, is just fantastic. And so you're giving me a High Republic detective style, in the shadows of the Sith style, like Jedi TV show that's going to be Jedi driven and going to have clear, dark, powerful forces beneath. Because this is right before the Sith took over from the High Republic. So this is going to be them, like Court of Owls in the shadows, pretty much having these things happen while the Jedi's come in and investigate these things and then slowly getting picked off one by one until they take over again. I think it's going to be by far the best story we see out of all of them, except for maybe like, I don't know, Ahsoka.
Filoni.
No, not even Filoni's. I don't even think Filoni's is going to be better than this TV show. I think this is going to be the best live action piece of Star Wars content we get out of this weekend's news. So everything announced this weekend, put it all in one bubble. This is going to be the shining star of it, I think. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited because it's 1, it's new. 2, it's in the High Republic, and 3, it's a Jedi detective film with Sith Lords pulling the strings. Like it's going to be good in my opinion. I don't know. It has that.
Or
dark,
there's no
gritty,
Skywalkers.
Well, even the better plus, huh? I'm sure they're going to be. I'm sure Plagueis will be in there somehow. They're going to be like, "Oh, I made Anakin right now," or something like that. Which is, I don't care. But now listen to heed my words when I say this, okay? Because I don't believe a word this woman says ever. Okay, Kathleen Kennedy's a liar, and she's a deceiver. But this is not the product if you're Kathleen Kennedy to put all your eggs into one basket for. What I mean by that is that of the things announced coming out and everything like that, there are more things to overhype. So when I say this, I say it with that in mind. She said this is the best piece of Star Wars content she's ever seen in the last 15 years when she watched a 5-minute clip of it. Now, like I said, the reason why I first was skeptical about that is because it's Kathleen Kennedy. But number 2, this is not the movie or TV show to oversell. So why would she?
I don't know. She's saying some pretty high praises about The Last Jedi.
Well, The Last Jedi, she's trying to cover her tracks with that one. She fired the director and then rehired a different one with the whole new story.
Yeah.
She probably just tried to. And also is pre all these TV shows and movies right? That was the catalyst that launched all these things. So I'm excited. It sounds like it's going to be good. If anything, we're going to get at least 6 Jedi. That'll be a focal point, which is so refreshing in a Star Wars world, right? How crazy that the Jedis aren't the ones leading the pack for the last 5 years. But we're going to get a Jedi-filled thing with Sith Lords. Just, I think it'll be good. It'll be dark, gritty. It'll be Andor, which I love, with Jedis and Siths.
I don't think we spend too much time on the Filoni movie just because we literally know nothing about it. If I was a gambling man, I would say we're probably going to get something that's going to be. We'll probably get another version of Order 66 because that man loves to tell that story over and over again.
Over and over and over.
So, Ahsoka.
It's a Mandoverse film. That's about all we know.
Let's talk about Ahsoka.
My queen.
I have some high hopes for this Ahsoka. The trailer
queen.
looked very, very good. So, did you guys think it was the world between worlds?
I do.
I think so too.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling a lot of it is. I think the scene where she's cutting into the ground and she goes down. I think that was in. Yeah,
I think there, but then when she's talking to what's that guy's name? Balin,
yeah.
the new supposed villain. I think there's a shot where they are talking, and I think it's when he pulls out his reddishy orange lightsaber.
I would say orange.
It definitely looks like you got some of the world between worlds vibes going on, and I think this could be like. I know it's probably not Matt's cup of tea, but I think if they did some messing with the timeline stuff, that could be kind of cool.
I already have.
Yeah. Ezekiel's got no time travel. I don't want to say time travel per se. I want to say like maybe people being out of time. Like I think this could be a cool way for this Balin character to be from another era, and he understands the dangers of what the world between worlds could do, and that's why he is kind of like an antagonist, is because she's meddling trying to find Thrawn and Ezra in something that she doesn't fully comprehend. That
is she trying to find him?
I think that's it's basically picking up right where Rebels left off. Is where she's going to try to go hunt down. Could go back and erase Kathleen Kennedy. So true.
I've been met in a very long time.
We're gonna leave that.
It's not directly after those.
Not
events.
directly, but it's obviously they're still
after Mandalorian, isn't it? After her Prince Mandalorian.
I think so. Yeah.
It's a very long time then. I mean, the Empire was still in charge, and like firmly in charge at their peak.
Yeah, they're at like the peak.
No. At the end of Rebels, it's after.
After the fall.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably 10 years, long enough for Sabine's hair to grow down to her shoulders.
Yeah. Those Mandalorians, man.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for it. I feel like I've been let down the last couple of TV shows, so I'm not gonna be like this is gonna be a game changer. I think Filoni's probably gonna be very protective of this because this is like his baby.
Big time.
So I think it'll be good though. I mean I'm gonna watch it. If it's bad, I'm gonna watch it from start to finish.
For sure. What is it? I think what this movie, this TV show coming out, I think this is them. And this work. I know we're gonna get into Mandalorian soon, but I really think with Ahsoka, I think it's going to start to like next week. You know what I mean? Like I think we're gonna get the Ahsoka intro, Ahsoka everything, and Thrawn and all that stuff. Or if we don't see him, we see the ship appear at the end. You know what I mean? His fleet, something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this last episode, I think it's gonna be heavily Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. I think Ahsoka's gonna be the predominant thing.
You're talking about in The Mandalorian?
She's gonna come.
She's gonna come.
The reason I think that is Uh, I heard two theories, but I'm really going for I think Thrawn shows up in this one, in this last episode, and I think that the rebels, the
Just all
ghosts
the-
or whatever they're, I think they're going to be the ones that stop the
Moff.
squad that's going to Moff Gideon and no, maybe not Moff Gideon, but maybe the dude, the
old man,
whatever the
whatever his name is.
yeah that
The
guy who's
guy
got
that's
the-
like-
the
Pally?
guy,
Yeah,
the guy that's
there you
like,
go.
the guy that's like Thrawn's coming back. That guy.
yeah, that guy. I
Thrawn's
think they're going
right
to stop
hand.
them to save the Mandalorian that are up above the clouds,
Mhm.
and I think that's what they're going to introduce Ahsoka. You
So
know,
Matt,
Ahsoka's
Matt,
gonna-
thoughts on Ahsoka? Because I feel like we're starting to merge into.
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
no, I'll merge it because
Mandalorian.
Ahsoka is very important to me. Okay, it's my
Mhm.
queen. Okay,
Oh my
Queen Ahsoka.
gosh, this
So
guy.
skeptical because Mandalorian this season has been ugh, and Filoni is a part of that. So
Mhm.
very skeptical with
Take.
Ahsoka. But I don't want to give Andrew any credit whatsoever here, so don't take it any way but I'm about to say it. Okay,
Hold on, hold on.
It
Let me
seems
turn this
like-
up real quick.
I'm not giving you credit like I just said because Favreau is still involved. Filoni though. listen. Filoni though is getting a pass for me for the season because it looks like he took all of his attention away from this season and was like, Favreau, figure it out. I got this gem over here I'm going to work on. And he just came to play with that show.
Mhm.
The very first scene where she throws her lightsabers down into the ground and spins them in a very Ahsoka style way.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that was fire.
my gosh, we're getting Ahsoka. So
So even
super
like
excited.
Rosario, she's done her homework. Like the way she like holds her lightsaber, she's got the two fingers up. Like
That's fire, dude.
details,
So
man.
good.
Details.
Yes.
It just looks like I asked for Ahsoka and I'm getting Ahsoka. That's what. And,
Yes, we're
and,
getting
and,
Ahsoka.
and I don't even care that much for the plot because it's live action Ahsoka, dude. Like
Mhm.
she was the freaking best part of Clone Wars.
Like give us.
So
It would be okay to give us an OP. Like if there's a character that gets to be OP in Star Wars, I feel like Ahsoka's that one, and everyone's just gonna rally behind it. Like season 7.
Yeah.
Clone Wars, where she's fighting, basically taking down ships out of the air in Mandalore. Like,
Yeah.
I
Dude,
was like,
that's- and she-
"Ah!"
Dude, when she fought Maul at such a young age
Mhm,
and stood her ground,
mhm.
like, dude, this show. I really hope they do justice for this show. I hope they do not shortchange anything.
Mhm.
I hope with this show with Ahsoka, I hope they hit the ground running. I don't want to.
Just balls to the walls, beginning.
Yeah,
to end.
I don't want to like the origins of Ahsoka. No, let's get hard in the paint and let's
I
score.
feel like they have no need to do that because of Tales of the Jedi. We got that already. We don't need
Yeah.
to see that live action. Like, give us established, trained, ready to go. If there's a mission, she's tackling it on her own. Like,
Yeah.
yes. Please.
yeah,
All right. With that being said, let's jump into it.
let's do it. All right, the moment at least I've been waiting for. So we have chapter 22, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
The Spy. So obviously heavy spoilers. We're going to be dissecting the episode. If you haven't seen it, this would be a good time to turn away. If you want to hear us ruin it for you, you've been warned. So before we get into details, last week we had briefly talked about what would need to happen to get us to rally behind the Mandalorian after this very lackluster season. Gentlemen, do we feel like they delivered in this episode?
You want me to go first? Yeah, or you want to go?
Either let's
for
save Matt for second.
All right.
The Spies,
So-
excuse me.
I think this episode was well deserved. We needed this episode, this way of storytelling, how they did in this episode of boom, 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 boom. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. And
Mhm.
I enjoyed it. I loved it. It had me emotional at a point where my main man died, but it also had me at the edge of my seat to see what they were going to find. And then when I
Mhm.
saw Moff Gideon's hangar base, I kind of was like, whoa, everything's kind of coming together, yada, yada,
Mhm.
yada. I was stoked. I enjoyed it. There was maybe two. I think the Grogu on the inside the little robot dude, the
IG11,
yeah,
IG12 now.
Yeah.
12.
I think I could have gone without that, but I thought it was funny. My kid was laughing when we were watching it because he kept saying yes, 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 yes when he was walking. I thought that was funny.
I couldn't help but smile, and it made me mad that I was smiling because I've been
yes.
so frustrated.
There you go.
I was like, no, you don't get a free pass for just making him say no or yes.
Yes.
I was
so,
like, stop smiling.
I think they added that because they were trying to get the episode to move. You know what I mean? And that was my only issue with it. Was with that little scene, but I thought the season was brilliant. I mean, the episode was brilliant.
All right, Matty J, what's your hot take on this? You were pretty heated last week, which I appreciate.
Yeah, not I don't know. So I said I needed 2 hour-long episodes. Here's the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
How do I put this nicely? I think about 20 minutes was not anything. And 20 minutes of it was them gathering troops, flying the troops, landing down, gathering more troops, going to the forge to look at more troops, then finally fighting somebody. And all of that was just not necessary whatsoever. None of it. They could have had the whole gathering troops in an instant, and they did about 2 minutes to get all the troops gathered, but then everything else after that to get to the forge, all that stuff is just
filler. Say it. Filler.
It's filler. I find it very hard to believe that the person that forges everything doesn't know where the forge is at. I find it very hard to believe that the supposed Queen of Mandalore just forgot where the forge was at. Find it very hard to believe that out of the 20 people there, not a single one of them knew which way to go to the forge, even though they're all from that planet. It just makes no sense. Just because things were buried doesn't mean the location changes. And we know Mandalores are great at locations, and they weren't all of a sudden. It's BS. So a lot of filler. The first half pretty much is a filler. Ramp it up to when they do initially see the ship coming towards them. It sounds like Moff Gideon to me. So I was like, okay, here we go. It's about to just start. And we have about 30, 40 minutes left in the episode. And then there was 15 more minutes of filler.
Pirates of the Caribbean on us.
of the two tribes fighting yet again. Surprise, surprise, the tribes fought. Just have them fight in the beginning. Don't have them fight on this ship, which means nothing for the stakes of things. Like, it's more impactful if they fought when they first saw each other and then volunteered to go together to the planet of Mandalore than them going together and then fighting when they're already together. Just makes no sense. Just a lot of filler, but I'm not as upset with this episode as the last. It wasn't as pointless, I would say. There was a point to it. It's still, no matter what they do with Moff Gideon here, it just feels like it's too late. You have one episode left.
Little too late.
Yes.
They did a lot of connecting the dots to the sequels or whatever they're called. Yeah. So Hux, obviously. Hux was in there. Thrawn being mentioned for Ahsoka and stuff like that. I mean,
okay, so let's pause real quick because
let me finish my thought. Muppet.
Finish.
Damn,
you're not the host here, okay?
I am the host.
Anyways, last thing. Thrawn mentioned, and the mention of Thrawn in the context of this episode and this show just completely diminishes the impact of Moff Gideon, if there was anything. Continue on.
So when I heard Thrawn, my heart sank because I remembered what we talked about last week, and I was like, "There's no way the man has a signed contract."
Yeah, I got it framed.
So
yeah, heartbreaking.
Here's my general analysis of the episode. I think it started off very strong, and then honestly, the middle half, like I remember looking at my watch and being like, okay, like let's
something has to
down. Yeah. And here's the problem with the Mandalorian fans is you get about 15 minutes of greatness and you go to IMDb and you give a 9.1. This, in my opinion, was not a 9.1 episode. This was
Even
like
if
an 8, maybe a 7.9.
even if it was a 10 out of 10, this is still coming 7 episodes too late.
This is
You know
not
what I
a
mean?
9.1, people. This
is
this
I
episode
like
was
the
good.
episode, but I would have given it maybe at best a 7.5.
Yeah, a
7.58.
7.9, 8, it would be like, that would be a stretch in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, the last 15 minutes, awesome, but you can't let 15 minutes dictate 35 minutes of just filler. And that's what was frustrating to me. And I've thought about it all day, was just like, how is this a 9? How is this a 9.1? It just kind of bothers me that we as fans can have one really cool scene or set piece, and that can sway the decision on what is arguably the greatest episode of The Mandalorian ever written. That is such bullcrap. Like, this was not the best episode.
Not even close.
There was cool things that happened, but this was not one of the best episodes ever written. And so I
thought it was so cool in the beginning. I thought when she was the spy, came in and she was like putting 2 and 2 together. Everybody kind of knew she was a spy, but kind of doing what she did. I thought that was cool. I had like a Blade Runner like style
Meet
thing,
in the back alley kind of way.
Yeah, I thought it was super dope. I was like, dude, I'm feeling this, and then it just didn't go that direction.
Yeah.
But I did. For me, I did like the pace of this. I'm just so burnt out of being disappointed that I think it's just too late. You know what I mean? And I kept telling myself, man, there's one more episode. There's one more episode. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like,
Yep.
yeah.
So
that's why.
A couple things. Let me tell your boy Zeke here something. Zeke, my friend, I appreciate your comment. I'm not a Mandalorian. I'm not a master tracker. I'm not a master bounty hunter. I'm not so legendary Jedi's feared me. Okay? Mandalorians were born for this. They were born to find things. They were born to hunt things. They were born to locate things. And they were born to know where they're at. That's the
Hold on,
first
let me
thing,
interject real quick. I'm going to let you finish. But they also even touch about it in this season that Mandalorians are master trackers. He teaches Grogu about it, and then nobody knows how to do it. Continue.
So, with that being said, I would think the queen of the master trackers would know where her stuff is at. I would think that Din Djarin, who was finding bounties of people randomly out of nowhere, who was hired by everybody that could possibly get their hands on him because he's the best at what he is, yes, I expect him and the Queen of Mandalore to know where the forge is at. And let's not even get into it, okay? How about the person that literally was in the forge every day of her life? I would think she would know where the forge is at too as well.
I don't know if the armor was, though.
I thought she was on the moon.
Fine.
Yeah,
Bo-Katan is enough. Bo-Katan should be enough for that whole situation.
I agree.
Yeah.
And to address the whole lasers bombarded houses underground, cool. I'll applaud you for that. And I'll give you that point. If they weren't already underground, to know where they were at in the first place. They went underground into the mines, and Bo-Katan knew exactly where they were at, exactly where to go to find the waters of Mandalore, but you can't find the giant forge.
Thank you.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I know. And
Bo-Katan should have known exactly where that forge is at as soon as she landed in that same exact spot.
What was it? Episode 1 or episode 2? She was walking. That's when they went down to the river, right?
Yep.
That's when they went
to
the
river. No problem. Found it.
Yeah, she was like, that's my buddy Chris's house. I used to play kickball over there. And then all of a sudden was like,
I need to find the waters of Mandalore. Oh, I know exactly where they're at. Let's go take a journey tomorrow and we'll find it. Like, come on. I heard don't throw him any bail. Don't throw him any bail. The armor is working for Gideon. I think so as well.
I think it's very obvious. So
we have Matt and Andrew on a conspiracy theory.
On a conspiracy theory.
So if this obvious, you kind of
I don't necessarily believe it because of the spikes.
It's not a conspiracy.
I think
they're making it right in our face.
It was too obvious. They feel like we're dumb, like they have to spoon feed us, and I hate it. We're smart enough to figure these things out.
She didn't want to be the one to go to the forge, knowing what's coming, so she went the other direction.
Not only that, but there's a specific phrase that she uses that is it's time to
wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Before you even I'll let you finish your point.
Okay.
You're telling me Moff Gideon knew where the forge was at, but the Mandalorians of Mandalore didn't know where the forge was
Yeah,
at?
what the hell?
Exactly.
That don't make no
I didn't even
sense.
think about that till right now. But go ahead.
So
Yeah, that's a good point, Matt. Good point.
she what's the phrase that she says about we're taking back Mandalore? Like there's a specific phrase, I can't remember it right now, but Moff Gideon uses the exact same words that she said. Crap, it's gonna bother me. What was it?
I can find it. Just continue on your point.
So
Yeah.
that's as soon as I heard him say that, I looked over to my wife and I'm like, the armor is the spy. Like those were her words. And it would be a weird coincidence or poor writing if the main villain said the exact same line, almost verbatim, if not verbatim, it might be verbatim, word to word with what the armor said.
Yeah.
But
again,
and also the episode is called The Spies, not The Spy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can only see two spies.
Who's the one who made Moff Gideon's suit? You know what I mean? Like all and everybody else's, you know what I mean, with all that Beskar, like somebody had to do it.
So let's say this theory is correct.
Yeah.
Are we gonna feel cheated that it felt too easy, that it was predictable?
No, I'm still gonna be upset,
No.
even if it was cool how they did it, because it's coming way too late in the season, and I feel like this is him too. You know what I mean? And it's just like, come on. That's why I feel like
And there'd
just
be
don't-
more
I'm
peace in my mind if they did do that versus they didn't. And the reason why is because now we see our antagonist for the entire season. It's been the Forger.
Right under our
two
nose.
seasons.
The
Right
armor.
under our nose. Yeah.
So that would make more sense to me than not doing anything with her, because that means we literally have 5 episodes of nothing versus at least these 8 episodes you can now go back and watch with the intention of knowing the armor is sending them to do tasks and to do things to set them up in the end. So it to me, it redeems the season in a sense versus like they're just, if next week she doesn't do anything, then I'd be more disappointed in that than her actually have a hand in everything.
Yeah, that's gonna suck if nothing happens, because it like that it's blatant, like something fishy's going on here. But
that'd be the one thing that connects all those episodes together would be that she's the one commanding them to do things from the very first episode. She's the one telling Din to go to the mines of Mandalore. She's the one telling Bo-Katan to take over and unite and go find the Forge. She's the one kind of like pulling the strings behind both of them. So that would be the one connecting piece that would make the main antagonist the armor. That'd be the only thing that'd be consistent through the entire season. Which to me would then redeem the season, because at least I can go back and watch it now with that in my mind. Like the same way. Like,
don't you feel like that would be like I don't know, like a gotcha?
No, I'll tell you the example. The example
it's a good one.
Example is WandaVision. So everyone knew that you didn't hire this great actress for this small role in WandaVision. You knew she was going to be Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
But when you found out it was Agatha Harkness, it was still a great reveal. Number one, and number two, you go back and watch all of WandaVision with that in mind. You see Agatha pulling the strings in the background, and it makes more sense to you. So that to me would be a more redeeming quality than just saying Moff Gideon's back, fight him in the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about it now, like how you said she tried to get Din to go back because he had Grogu and they needed Grogu. Like all the signs kind of things start leading up as she was like, damn, he already went to Mandalore and then came back and they didn't see anything. I'm still good. And then once Bo was like, I saw the dinosaur, it was the mythosaur, and she was just like, "Yep, everybody pack their bags. We're dipping." You know what I mean? It was just like, "Whoa, kind of suspect here." But
so,
do you think that? Do you think Star Wars could pull that out and not? Well, I take that back. Never mind, because they could, because nobody knew that Luke was coming to get Grogu. They kept that on the hush. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I take that back.
So. Again, we're still speculating here because obviously we haven't seen next week's episode. If it is true, do you think we will get the reason why she's betraying her own people?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we would have to know the reason, like why are you doing this? Like,
yeah.
And I'm trying to think what would be her angle. Question number one, when would she have made the flip? Because we've seen her kill stormtroopers that are Moff Gideons in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, I don't remember her too much being around in season 2, with the exception. No, that was Boba that she was in.
The Darksaber part. Yeah.
But what would be the catalyst to make her flip sides? That's what I have a hard time wrapping my brain around. Like I want to believe that this is the theory because it seems good, but I just don't know without getting the answer from next week why. Like what led to this?
So my theory on this point would have to be because Moff Gideon allowed them to live. Because remember when he's talking to the Shadow Council and he goes, we're gonna take them out once and for all. That means that he had to know that there were Mandalorians on the moon. You know what I mean? And he didn't bomb the planet and then to go to the moon and bomb the moon. You know what I mean?
But I thought that was in reference to Bo's big secret where she turned the Darksaber over to him, and as you're gonna beat us anyways, we surrender. I thought that's what that meant because he knew that there were Mandalorians left over because he didn't kill them all then.
But he still blew it up right after it. So
he blew it up before.
Remember she says you betrayed me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the betrayal. Like she said,
but she says it's after the Night of 1,000 Tears, which that's the bombing. She met with him after the Night of 1,000 Tears.
It's true. It's true.
So when remember when the guy who's flying the pirate ship or whatever says
Treebeard?
and then he says they bombed us twice, maybe, or do you think they just bombed the planet once and then went back and bombed it again? You know what I mean?
Unclear.
Yeah, I hope they break that down. That's actually something.
I hope it's not
to give her like some kind of motivation. In reference to this season, it's very clear Bo-Katan is like rallying the troops, and she puts sole responsibility of Mandalorian falling on Bo-Katan and nobody else. So that alone could be like her motivation of like, if I give you Bo-Katan and the Darksaber or whatever, then you leave us alone and we'll be done with it. Or you recognize us as a planet of the New Republic once it rises. So and this leads me to my next point I'm trying to make here was, if they restore the planet of Mandalore, they have to be in cahoots with the new the First Order, because they're nowhere to be found opposing the First Order in the next 3 films, which means that they're either in cahoots with them or they never get reestablished. Because if they do get reestablished, that means they fight Moff Gideon and win, which makes them a direct enemy to the First Order at that point. So either they fight Moff and win and they figure out that piece of the puzzle later, or the armor is in cahoots with Moff Gideon to take over Mandalore and keep it as part of the First Order.
I think that's what's
therefore they don't interfere. So the motivation for the armor is just that it's not in Bo-Katan's control because she already had us fall once, and my point's proven now because she just told me she gave up our only weapon of hope. And now where would that leave Din? Heartbroken, and that would leave him on a journey of self-discovery again, which would get us back to the roots of the Mandalorian, him walking around trying to find out who he is.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I think that's a great idea because I think what they're going to do is, it would be cool to have them fall, and then right at the last second, Din going, I have to leave a Grogu because I can't have Moff Gideon get Grogu. And he dips, and everybody's gone. You know what I mean? Like they get wiped. Like, I think that would be a cool story. I know it sucks because it's over for that, but that's the only thing I can think of because Matt made a good point. It's not too far off Force Awakens, and you don't hear any of that. You don't hear the rebels going, "Hey, let's go talk to the Mandalore. Maybe we can get help here to take out the
These people hate the First Order.
They're not even established as being a people in the next 3 films, and with them killing Paz Vizsla with the 3 Red Guards who were clearly in the throne room, there'd be some sense of like mandated justice on their end. They killed one of our best warriors. We need to go kill the First Order back now, and they're nowhere to be found in the next 3 films, or even not even spoken.
Yeah, there's only one part in the whole Force Awakens where they mention them, and that's the flag that's flying above the bar in the beginning. Besides that, there's no mention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could see
they'd
Din.
be a force that if you're rebels, you'd want them to tag along because they're one of the
Yeah.
greatest warrior tribes in all of the galaxy. So
100%.
So we're running out of time before we got to get to our game. So let's talk about Pav Vizsla's death. But before we do, when Din gets captured, was anyone like, oh man, like they might kill him off? Like I had vibes like maybe they might kill him. So I was like, dang, they better not like.
never.
As Din.
I have there's a couple dudes I listen to on YouTube and whatever who break down like rumors and yada yada yada.
Mhm.
I'm kind of in the mix if they kill him off because you've heard a lot of the creators say that the Mandalorian is it's not just about Din. It's about the Mandalorians. There was an interview where they were talking to like some producer or something like that where they're breaking that down. So I thought they were going to take his helmet off, to be honest.
That would have been bad.
Because I thought Moff Gideon was going to be like, look at me, you know what I mean? I want to see your face kind of thing. That's what I really was hoping for. I heard through those guys too that who's the actor who plays Mando? Pedro was not even on set this whole season. His actors were, and I think they did a great job mirroring him. They said that he didn't want to be in the role anymore, or he didn't feel like it was really what he signed up for.
Oh, I think he was expecting a little bit more FaceTime.
That's what I thought so too. And then he gets asked during Star Wars Celebration about this new movie coming out, and his only answer or only thing he said was "Hell yeah!" Like I'm in. You know what I mean? That shows to me that they're not killing him off because how do you have a Mandalorian, like a movie coming out with the Mandalorian, and he ain't in it? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of weird.
It's misleading.
And maybe it is, but
it's
I
not
think
about the Mandalorian. It's about the Mandoverse. So it could be anybody.
True.
Yeah.
Listen, the Mandalorian is Din. But we need to stop being. I don't care what the executives say or what the creators say. When people say the Mandalorian, we're thinking Din Djarin.
He is so cool. Like just looking at the other Mandalorians, like they just nailed his design.
Dude,
he's
everything.
Unique. He doesn't look like one that can just be cookie cuttered in like some of the other ones. They got a lock pager in, man. If he's out, that's a huge hit. But I digress. Let's go. Let's talk about Pav Vizsla. Sucked to see our man go.
Dude, I was just loving him.
Rub my hands real quick. Do
we need to put our conspiracy helmets on?
No, not at all. I
got one. I always have
Pav Vizsla. I do have Vizsla. They wanted me to love him this season. Didn't due to Jackass inherently. So he fights for his people, and I give him his props for his honor. But two things: one, you're a jackass, and two, you definitely could have made it back to that hole. Like there was
no problem.
You want to know? There's too many of them, but you push the button to close the door. Just push it and slide under. Like he wanted.
That's the first thing I thought of.
He wanted to die like a warrior. But here's what I'll say about his death: him beating clone troopers, kind of cool. You're a Mandalorian. That shouldn't be too difficult, and you're a big one at that. So like. The straps they use around Din isn't going to work on you. What I really, 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 really appreciated continuity-wise is these 3 red guards came in and mopped the floor with him. The floor. These 3 guards who we know are trained to fight Jedi. I thought it was going to be some crazy big battle. Nope. Over like 10 seconds, and I was like, perfect. This is perfect continuity. This is great. These red guards now put the fear of God in every heart that walks by them besides a Jedi.
The way you could see like their electrostaffs going inside of him too,
so
dude, and it wasn't even just
give us more stuff like that. Like
it was slow. It was like they dug it. Dude.
Gosh, it was so
that
good.
Was fire, man.
So I enjoyed. I mean, not to say I enjoyed him dying, but I enjoyed the continuity there, and it took 3 of those guys to just kill arguably the biggest Mandalorian they've ever seen. Yeah. So now it makes more sense in the throne scene. Oh, these guys are legit people to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So it does. I didn't think about that, Matt. That's a good point. Now
Kathy is successfully doing what she wanted to do with the season, connected to the sequels, and make us appreciate the sequels more.
Good on Favreau.
Conspiracy hat theory. All right, here's my other one. So, again, I think this season shows that Favreau has had this falling out with Kathy or Kathleen, and I think this is a way to kind of show like
every week
my character's done, I'm done, like. On it.
So I'm waiting for the part that like really convinces me of what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the difference from like 2 weeks ago to now.
That's it. It just time's only gonna tell.
So what I think is cool is what I really like and I really dislike, but I thought it was I'm into it. This is just my theory. I've been talking to some of my buddies, and then we've been thinking now that we heard about the Rey movie coming out and that she's gonna be looking for people and yada yada yada. I thought it would be cool since our big guy died. Now his son's gonna be there. He's also coming from a family of Jedi in the sense, or Force using people. I thought it would be cool if they tied that in with his son. You know what I mean? The fact that the whole Mandalorian people are kind of could be, run again. They could be in hiding. I think that'd be cool if Rey found him 25 years later and he's a different person, maybe an angry.
Wouldn't he be a lot older?
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe he's a lot older, like maybe 30,
like
40 years.
Yeah, he'd be like 40s, mid 40s, maybe.
But it also
remember the Jedi Order under Rey. All she knows is I was 25 and I got trained to be a Jedi, and I'm one of the best there is now.
Yeah, see,
there's no youngling stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't know. The other thing I think is pretty cool is remember the boy from the casino scene who got the ring from the rebel ring
with the
room? I think if they tie that into either Rey or something, that would make the lore of people wanting to watch the prequels, the last couple movies click and tie. I think as a fan, I would love that. I would love to find out that Grogu meets up with Rey and explains to this dude who his dad was. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool. Would they do that? I highly doubt it. They would never do it, but I think it would be cool.
So I hope that I'm from this season specifically. I'm tired of seeing things that are trying to make the prequels make sense and make the prequels better than what they are. Like, just cut the tie. Like, let's just do something else.
But we can't go. We can't. There was Clone Wars brought the earlier movies.
But that argument would be like Episode 3 isn't the best of the prequels. Therefore, we have to put the show in to make Episode 3 the best. Episode 3 was hands down the best.
Yeah, I get that, but they brought out way more lore in Clone Wars that made number 3 way better. You know what I mean? It was good, and they made it better.
I think anybody could watch.
Clone Wars is really good, though. Clone Wars is really good.
Clone Wars is really good. It's really good.
You don't have to watch the Clone Wars to appreciate 3. And it feels
he's not saying that. He's saying that it enhanced your appreciation.
It enhanced it.
I don't think it has to.
As someone who didn't watch Clone Wars before 3 and watched 3 and then Clone Wars after, more recently, I don't see 3 any differently, personally, after watching the Clone Wars, even with the final season coming out. Outside of having questions about, like, I want to see Ahsoka. I want to see, Maul during the Revenge of the Sith era and post that.
That'd be
which
dope.
we saw in Rebels, obviously, but it really brought more light of, like, I want to see certain characters and what happened to them, like Ahsoka, for example. Ma just said, but Rex, Cody, those guys, like, they didn't just. I mean, we saw Rex not turn. Obviously, we see him a million years later in Rebels, but there's a whole gap in between there that Rex isn't there. Cody, for example.
Yeah.
So do you think Ahsoka dies before Force Awakens?
No.
When do you think she dies then?
So I don't know. I don't know when she dies. I don't really care when she dies because it hasn't been established yet. What I hope they do is they have this whole part of the galaxy that is unexplored, untouched, that we know Thrawn and Ezra have been to, let that be the direction that they go.
But they're not. They're okay.
Why?
For all intents and purposes, I can see the appeal why, especially with the whales and all that stuff.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
could be
that's
really
fire.
interesting lore that like they're just not going to explore. But I'm going to tell you why we already know they're not doing that. It's because Thrawn is back and established now as of yesterday, and the continuity of their stories is remaining here where we're at already and continuing. I find it very, 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 very impossible to believe they're going to have somewhere where Thrawn's back and Ezra isn't somewhere in the galaxy nearest to them. So
Yeah.
that
kinda
exploration
go
of
hand in
those
hand.
two things will never happen unless you give us like an Ezra TV show that fills that gap.
Missed opportunity, but whatever.
I agree. I agree with you on that.
Because at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, that's the last one.
She's
right?
Ahsoka's dead by then.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ahsoka's dead by because she hears him in the as a Force ghost. So
Mhm.
I would assume she's out. You know what I mean?
I'm assuming she's
But-
dead before the Force Awakens.
That's what I'm assuming too.
And I only say this because we're obviously going to know the Empire is going to be, or not the Empire, Thrawn and the First Order is going to be aware of Ahsoka's existence, and it wouldn't be a surprise to Snoke to see another Force user like Rey if Ahsoka was still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They got.
I hope they tie in Ahsoka to Force Awakens though. I hope that Ahsoka is the one who takes Rey's parents to hide them.
Or finds Luke's lightsaber.
Yeah, that would be dope if they just
Or Anakin's
wrapped up
lightsaber.
the story. You know what I mean? I think
They're
it'd be
not
fire.
gonna touch on that.
Just to make you upset, Andrew, just to piss you off, dude.
Just-
I was.
Hold on.
Yes.
Andrew, just imagine. Listen, imagine here. This is peak cinema. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek to what's gonna happen in 5 years. Okay.
Ooh, tell the future. Tell the future.
With the Ahsoka TV show and the World of Worlds, right? World Between
Yeah.
Worlds. Imagine you just see Luke's hand get sliced off and his lightsaber's falling.
You can
And
make
then
me disconnect. You
and
can
then-
make me disconnect.
Hold on. Let me speak. And then out of a portal, Ahsoka catches it and brings it into her. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that could be one of the. That's a Nexus moment, like she says in
Mhm.
Rebels, or they said, "Yeah, man." And then she just keeps Luke's hand in a bag that she carries with her. You know what I mean? And every time she does something cool, she just high fives herself. That
Gives
would
it
be
back to
so
him
fire.
when he sees Grogu.
Yeah, dude. He's over there sipping on the little blue juice or blue milk.
God. We've got out of control. Spiraled out of control now. This is what
Yeah, we
happens
need to
when I'm
fire
the
up.
host. This is what
Yes, it
happens when
is.
I'm the host. All right.
Yes.
Is there any other topics, touch points that we want to hit on this last episode or the second?
Last thing we want to bring up on Mandalorian is this might be Matt's last piece of content.
For 5 years.
Yeah, for 5 years if Thrawn shows up. Are we going to show him grace and let him, talk about it? Or are we just going to
I think
hold him to that contract?
it says if Thrawn comes in. So how are we quantifying that? Not a voice.
Thrawn
right?
needs, you have to see
Not a
him.
laugh.
We
You
have
see his
to see.
face. His
So
face.
I think
Or
we
a
might,
silhouette.
we might have to put
No.
we might have to put like an appendage
His-
or a
His
appeal.
face.
Like, does post credit count? Do we count
Yeah.
post credit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You count post credit? Dang. Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. We do not count post credit if it isn't directly after the sequences of the episode. So if it's some kind of like time jump in like 3 years whenever Ahsoka is based in, then no.
So
I
let's
wouldn't count it.
let's say it's the end of season 2, Mandalorian, where it shows the Book of Boba coming, something like that.
I would count it.
You count it? Okay.
I would count it.
Oh man, you might be out of Star Wars for
Yeah,
5
man.
years because I feel like there's no way that they're not going to try to get that hype train going for Thrawn. Like,
Yeah, they are.
Maybe.
okay,
All right.
we are grossly over time again because I'm the host. It's
let's jump into
all
that game.
chaos. No. We got to touch on the expert topic real quick, which is you. Let's keep it.
All right,
brief.
I'm going to fly by this real quick. So
Okay.
a couple weeks back, I had the expert topic. Sorry about that, guys. About remember when I was talking about games coming out not at 100%,
Mhm.
and that we were seeing a lot of developers push the game out, going updates are coming. Good luck, people, and then
Mhm.
not getting all this money and then not putting back into the updates. Well, there was a game coming out, and Matt's been getting me into wrestling, so I've been super deep into wrestling, trying to watch as much as I can. There is a show and there's a game coming out called AEW. I don't know if you guys saw it. Dropped the other day. The trailer looks really good. I love that it's being from. I think it's THQ. Used to make SmackDown back in the day. Well, the higher ups jumped the gun and said the game is 100% complete. That it's. They didn't say it's ready to go. They just said it's 100% complete. Well,
the president of AEW said this.
Yeah. The developers came out and were like, no, it's 100% complete, but we're not done. Like, it needs to be polished. It needs to be everything. So I heard this and I was like, I clapped because I was like, yes, instead of just putting this game out and it failing, competing against 2K, WWE, or whatever it's called. They're like, hey, our baby's not finished. Give us a little bit. And then it should be coming out maybe later the end of this year, mid this year. We don't know yet. But I'm cool with the developer telling us we're almost there, then putting out a terrible game and then being like, we got your $69, yada, yada, yada. So a couple hours later, there's a game called, let me see, it is called Redfall. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's about these like monster vampire hunters. It's a 4-player PvP kind of thing. Kind of like a Left 4 Dead kind of game. Well, their game is on the new gen console. Matt, are you going to play a game, an FPS, with under 60 frames per second?
On a PC? No.
You're not going to play it on PC. PC, no. 100%. But on
PC, console, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So they're dropping this game that has been riddled with problems. They're going to be dropping it for the Xbox Series X at 30 frames per second in 4K, but 30 frames per second. The Xbox S underneath it, 1080p, 30 frames per second. But they're saying the problem with the game for me is you have a big backing, a lot of pushback, and you're barely giving us 30 frames per second. And then that doesn't even bother me because if, like Matt said, it doesn't really bother me too much because it's on console. The problem I have is they're saying buy our game, and then the next post is an update is coming. That's going to allow you to play 60 frames per second. There's no timetable. There's no by the end of this quarter. So this shows me that I'm going to be spending my money to for these developers, or paying these developers for this game. And then I have to hope that they actually do this update. You know what I mean?
So, question real quick. Is this game an Xbox exclusive or?
Yeah, it's an Xbox exclusive now. It is now an Xbox exclusive.
So, and let me know if I'm cutting you off or not letting you finish.
No.
I don't necessarily see a problem with this for a couple reasons. One, you have a console that, yes, there are some games that can run at 60. There are some games that can run at 120. But you also, the hardware that you need for it, even down to the correct HDMI port to get to some of those things, is required for that. Not to mention that most TVs aren't able to produce those kind of frames anyways, that if it's angled on a home console that's designed to be on a TV more than like a monitor.
True.
You're not really going to get the benefits of 120 hertz or 144 hertz or whatever that you might if you were doing it on a PC. So I get it seems kind of scummy that they're like trying to hook and reel you in, or those gamers that are playing their Xbox One Xbox Series X on a monitor to be able to get those high frames. But I think.
So do you think the developers should have gone ahead and been like, hey, since there's no timetable, do you think they should have been forthcoming and been like, hey, it looks like the game's dropping this Saturday. In the next month, we're going to be able to do the update to make it 60 frames per second? Or do you think they should just hold off and just wait the month?
I think they say nothing, personally. I say you buy our game based on if you want to play it. And then if there is an update that comes out to support a probably smaller amount of people that are playing the Xbox hardware on compatible components, that they get the benefits of it, versus like the people that are playing it on a TV aren't going to see it even if the update really pushes out unless they have a nicer TV. And so I don't think there's a necessary for us to be like, hey, buy our game because we got this update coming that's gonna make it look better, or
Yeah.
any of those things. I just say they buy the game because you want to buy it, and then if they're gonna do an update to make it compatible with higher frames, cool. That's just a perk of after buying it.
True.
Yeah, I think the way they did it was perfect. I think
you
Andrew's
see that
right. Like,
there's two different stories on there. Like you can
Mhm.
take them both ways. I'm sorry, Matt. Keep going.
but if you don't take them anyway, take them at face value. That's what you
Mhm.
should be doing. So I think what Andrew says is correct. You're not buying the game for this specific feature. You're buying it because it's
Sure.
either a good story or a good
Mhm.
gameplay, whatever it is. That's the reason to buy the game. I do think there is value in them saying, "Hey, there is an update coming for 60 frames per second," because that means a very important thing, which is you listen to your feedback before the game even
Yeah.
released.
Mhm.
And for them not to say anything, for them not to address it, is a lot worse. On like their fan base feels unheard, which is happening like in the Call of Duty community, for example, or even like the Halo community. Like you're
Mhm.
just not even talking about what we're trying to get you to talk about. At least these developers like, hey, here's our game. Here's what you're going to get from it. If you want to play this game, here it is. And
Mhm.
then later on, I don't know when, we're going to have an update for 60 frames per second because everyone wants that. Might
Mhm.
take some time. It isn't on the priority list. Like there's no indication of like this game is for this frame rate per second, and we're releasing
Right.
it not in that frame rate per second, if that makes sense. And there's also
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
a
get what you're
sense of
saying.
we're hearing you, but right now the important thing is a stable game over a 60 FPS game. But
Right.
I think in this situation, the way they did it was the correct way. There's a problem. And we can get into like this next week or whatever when I have a full week with it. But the
Yeah.
problem for me is when developers like Infinity Ward say, "Hey, this update for season 3 is gonna change all of Call of Duty.
Mhm.
Warzone's gonna be way different. Movement's gonna be different for
Mhm.
multiplayer," and then none of it happens. That
be
to me
different.
is a lot worse than somebody
Mhm.
saying it's coming. I just don't know when. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The over promise, under deliver problem.
Yeah,
Right.
it gets kind of sketchy because it's like you don't want to say nothing, and then get upset, but then you say too much, and then
Yeah,
100%.
I guess if I would to
balance.
change my verbiage, it's not. I from what I was trying to convey, I wouldn't have marketed, "Hey, come buy our game that's going to get a patch that's going to get 60 FPS."
Yeah.
It would have been like, "Hey, let me market why you want to buy the game by itself."
For sure.
Yeah.
The other hard part is I don't know, and maybe you missed it and I wasn't listening, but the other game, the wrestling game, was that based on frames that they're delaying it, or was that
No,
just
they jumped the
Just
gun
not
on saying that the
ready
game
yet.
was ready, and it hadn't even been to bug testing, like to make sure
Gotcha.
the bugs are out. It hadn't even gone to polls yet, and
so it was probably some exec who was like checking in with one of his homies, and
Yeah,
he
it
was
was-
like, "Hey, it's looking like it's done. We got a few things to work out," and him being like,
yeah,
"We're done. Let's push it out."
Yeah.
yeah.
The way the
I just-
developer
but I'm-
said it was that the president of the actual company, his version of finish isn't the same as like a developer's, so he just didn't
Yeah.
understand what he was saying.
So
that's fair.
my point on this whole thing was I'm just happy about communication. You know
Totally.
what I mean? Like there's
Totally.
one person who said, "No, our game's not ready, and we're
Yeah.
not just jumping," and then the other one was like, "Hey, our game's complete. Just we're sending it out there. It's complete.
Yeah.
We're just going to be putting out updates." I just wish
There's
there was a
transparency
timetable
behind it.
Yeah, but that's all I want. You know what I mean? Where unlike Call of Duty, I thought I was going to turn it on and it was just going to be a completely new game, and I was just like,
Same game.
Meh.
yeah.
game.
But it was
I like
weird,
it.
Andrew.
I
Is
like the game,
Warzone,
so it's fine. But same game.
Yeah, I jumped into my first game of Warzone and I won, and I was like, "Oh, it's a new game," you know what I mean? And they got the next
Mhm.
game, and I was like, "Oh no, it's
Got
still the same
mopped.
game." You know,
Mhm.
got mollywopped, but I'll take it.
All
Yeah,
right.
but that's
well,
all I had.
Thank you for your expert opinion, and let's jump over to a game. I know we're running a little bit long, but we had some very important topics to discuss.
We started early too, so we got some
did.
time.
You did.
All right,
All right.
let's hear it, Matt. Game Master of the Week.
Let's
Who usually
get-
delivers.
Oh,
Everyone, bow your heads on 3, please, towards the Game King, the Game Master,
oh my god,
the King of Games.
No, it's not Andrew's week this week. It's
Yeah, I'm aware. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest. Got lazy this week. Might not be the best game we ever played. And
how the king has fallen.
It might not be the best game, but it definitely is gonna be better than most of the other games still. So
The Stevie game.
we all know that celebrities are a dime a dozen. Okay.
Okay.
Some of them look old, some look young, some look just right. The game today, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to give you actors and actresses. You are to guess their age on the exact number. Not 40s, not 50s, not 30s, not 20s. I want the exact number.
Okay.
And it's Price is Right style. If you go over their age, you bust. You can't get the point no matter what. Whoever's closest to the age gets the point.
Okay.
Are you ready?
So
I
can I add one thing in? Could you tell? Okay, if we say it's Brad Pitt, hopefully it's not Brad Pitt. If it's Brad Pitt and I go, can I get a clue? Can I get how old he was during this movie?
No.
Could you tell us that? No. Okay.
No, because then you know what year it comes out. You do the math.
Was trying.
I mean, he can't do the math that quick, but
what I can do is once we get the first one in, I can then say, once I reveal the age or whatever, the next one I can say this person is younger than said person.
I like that. Okay, I'll take that.
Or we can not do it that way. You guys vote. Vote on it. Yeah,
all right, we'll see. All
right. So first guy, we're gonna go actor, actress. Okay. First guy is the illustrious Oscar Isaac. Gentlemen, what age do you think Oscar Isaac is? Poe Dameron from Star Wars. Moon Knight. How old do we think Moon Knight is?
I'm going to say Oscar Isaac is 47.
47. Steven?
I am going to go Oscar Isaac is 44.
44, okay.
44.
Ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer is 44 on the dot.
No.
Let's go, son. Let's go.
That first point.
So I know.
All right.
Poe.
Let me. All right, next one. A new big face in Hollywood. Florence Pugh. How do we think Florence Pugh is? If you don't know who she is, she's Yelena Belova from Marvel. Scarlet Witch is not Scarlet Witch. Black Widows. I wanted to say Scarlet Spider because that's coming out here pretty soon. But Scarlett Johansson's counterpart. I don't know.
I'm gonna say she is 33.
33. Okay, Steven.
Oh man, that's a good number. That's what I was gonna say. I am gonna say she is 29.
29. So 33 and 29. Ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer is 27. You both bust, no point.
Dang.
Oh, dude, you want to honest? I was gonna say 26, to be honest, and then right at the second and changed it. Yeah, so that's crazy.
On to the next one. These are the big name actors of these days, so you guys should know all of them pretty well. The next one,
but I do like the movie reference. So
the one, the only, Din Djarin. How old is Pedro Pascal, ladies and gentlemen? How old is Pedro Pascal?
54.
54. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say 53. I don't know if that's too close.
54 is pretty confident.
I'm gonna say 48.
48. All right,
48.
Ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer for Pedro Pascal, Mr. Din Djarin, is 48.
Let's go!
All right, so I'm going old.
Guys, I had to win today.
Hey, Andrew, you're shooting real high. Okay.
I'm just trying to get my answer out before Steven to like make him move it around.
The old Rhett and Link strategy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Evangeline Lilly, the Wasp. She was in Lost forever ago as well. Evangeline Lilly, how do we think she is?
Since Andrew guessed the last couple first, I'll go first to help you.
Go for it.
I'm going to say 56.
56. Okay, Evangeline Lilly, 56.
I'm going to say 46.
46. Okay. Well, she must not age very well because she's 43, ladies and gentlemen. No point for either one.
Dang it! So the lost thing messed me up because I was trying to.
Yeah.
How long ago did the Lost come out?
Yep.
Also, too, I forgot who she. I forgot who she was on Lost. Like,
yeah. Kate. She was Kate
on Lost. Like, was she like the older person?
She's pretty young in that too.
She's pretty young in that one. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go with her counterpart, Mr. Paul Rudd, ladies and gentlemen. How old do we think Paul Rudd is? This is a hard one because everyone knows that he looks way younger than he is. So they often overshoot a little bit higher.
Yes.
Try to find that sweet spot. All right. Try to find that sweet spot.
54.
54. Okay, Steven.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna
All right.
lose
I
again.
should- yeah.
Oh, he's gonna
I am
get it.
gonna say he is. I'm gonna say he's 52. 52 years of age.
Dude, Steven is incorrect in this one. 54 is correct. That is
Yes!
Andrew
Let's
Young.
go!
54. I was gonna say 54 though.
All right.
That's good. That was good.
We're going on to another modern day superstar. She blew up with her show on HBO. She blew up with Spider-Man. We're going with Zendaya. How old do we think Zendaya is, ladies and gentlemen? Started off at Casey Jones on Disney Channel. You know, grew up a little bit, went to Euphoria. Now she's drugged up every episode pretty much. She is Tom Holland's girlfriend.
Still?
How old do we think Zendaya is, ladies and gentlemen?
23.
That's pretty young. 23, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say there's no way she's 23 because she was on Wildin' Out a couple years, maybe 5 years ago, and she was under 18. So
That lines up to Andrew's number then.
Mhm.
18 plus 5 is 23.
But that was probably filmed earlier. So I'm gonna say she is 27. 27 years
Okay.
old.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, she is currently 26 years old. Steven, your butt. Andrew, that is your point.
I was just
That's
shooting
horse.
young,
It's
I was
currently a
going
tie
young.
game. It's currently a tie game. This is
And
going-
Yeah, but I'm really winning. Andrew's over here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Technicalities.
I got
you
one.
know what I'm saying?
I got one spot on.
I got two.
one.
One spot.
Yeah,
No,
Dylan-
one spot on.
Yeah, the
That was
butt's
just
still
'cause I
rigged.
missed. That was just because I missed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zendaya's counterpart, Spider-Man. How old is Mr. Tom Holland? How old is Nathan Drake? How old is he? How old is the future 007? What do we think?
Oh, you think he's gonna be 007?
No, not a chance. But I'm just throwing it out there for people that
Oh, I was like,
hate that
damn.
idea.
Yeah, me too.
25.
25. Okay, Steven.
He is 1 year younger than Zendaya.
Isaiah's 26.
Zendaya's 26.
I'm gonna say, and you said 25.
Mm-hmm.
Jackass. I'm gonna say 24. I'm gonna go 24.
I mean, this is where when I said him being older or younger could have helped you guys didn't
Mhm.
take it. He's the same age. He's 26. Therefore, Andrew is correct.
I was banking on 1 year or
I thought he was. To be honest, I was gonna say 28 at first, and then I was like,
I just
No,
didn't
no.
feel comfortable saying the same age.
I think
as her.
I think 25 is a good guess for Tom Holland. But all right,
3-2. 3-2.
3-2. In case you didn't know, 3-2 now.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Belle herself, Beauty and the Beast, Emma Watson. How old do we think Emma Watson is?
Oh,
Hermione Granger.
Andrew's
How old
gonna
is
get this because
Emma
he's
Watson?
wearing her pajamas to bed.
What does that even mean?
You know what it means, Andrew. You know what it means. Damn, I don't know.
It's a tough
I'm gonna
one,
say-
not gonna lie.
Oh wait, can I get the hit? Is she older?
Oh, no, well, we didn't do it this whole time, so no now.
All right. 26.
It's a joke because
26.
26, okay.
I am going to say she is 27.
26. That's what we're gonna do now, gentlemen. Emma
Yeah.
Watson is 32
She might
years
be
old.
32.
So
Yeah.
Dang
I-
it,
Steven-
did my math
Actually,
wrong.
I was-
might
hey.
win.
I was trying to do the math for it.
If you're gonna make me go first, I was gonna say 31 because I was like, how old was I when I watched it? And she had to be about 5 years younger than me, so she's about
Mhm.
30, 31. But yeah,
You guys both could have guessed better than that. It seems like
Yep.
you guys didn't.
Yeah.
So next
I get a
up,
point, right? I get a point.
next up,
3-3.
the greatest Joker of all time. Rest in
Mark
peace.
Hamill.
Rest in peace to the Joker that this guy portrays. Jared Leto. How
Jared
old do you
Leto.
think
I
Jared
knew
Leto
you were
is?
going Jared Leto. Jared Leto's
How old do we
a
think
He's been around for
Dr.
a while, too.
Morbius, how do we think he is? House of Gucci, American Psycho, Fight Club.
I'm gonna
Go
say
on, don't you have that
42.
42?
No,
Okay.
43. Sorry.
Okay, 43.
I am going to say I'm going to say because Andrew said 43, right?
Yep.
I am going to say I think he's about almost 50, but I'm going to say 44.
One upper.
This is okay. Hold on. I'm gonna need you guys to like guess at the same time now. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds, and I'm gonna
Okay.
say go.
3, 2,
You guys
1.
are gonna
Give
guess
us a 3, 2, 1.
because this
Yeah.
whole one number fighting isn't gonna apply for this podcast. Okay. Leto is 51 years old. If you were to guess
Okay.
49 or 50, respect from me. But you guessed one number above this idiot.
Mhm.
But that is your point.
Yeah, because he was like 20 in Fight Club. That shit came out like 93. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's aged well, too.
Yeah.
the next one up, Mrs.
Is
Harley
this the
Quinn.
last one?
No, just the next one.
Oh.
Harley Quinn herself, Barbie. What's her name in Wolf of Wall
life?
Street?
Oh.
What's her name in Wall Street? Who? What do you? Owl, that lady. Margot Robbie. How old do we think Margot Robbie is? And I'm gonna give you. You guys can talk out loud if you want. Just don't say the number. Okay. Y'all are doing this whole ping pong BS. Ain't gonna work with me.
Okay.
All right.
What
So-
happens if we say the same number, though?
Huh?
What happens if we say the same number?
Oh, if we say the same number, then you pick high or I pick low. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Over and
That's what
under.
we'll do. Yeah.
So, we ready, gentlemen?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
39.
33 for Andrew, 39 for Steven. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys both busted. She is 32 years old, Miss Margot.
Dang it, I was going to say 32 first. Oh,
That is a-
Margot Robbie's
that is
32.
yeah.
That is a no-
How old was she?
I had a feeling she was around the same age as me.
How old is she during?
Wall
No, during Earl, that show which she was on with Jason Lee, or My Name's Earl. How old was she on that show? That was like
I don't know.
15, almost.
Well,
Dude,
that's
at
crazy.
17, 18.
That's crazy. She looked old as shit in that
Alright.
show too.
Well, we have 3 more left. Right
right.
now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-3. Steven's winning by 1 point.
Let's go.
So, this one,
Can't cheat no
I
more,
think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, I think. But Batman, how old do we think Robert Pattinson is? Edward. Mr. Edward, Mr. Cedric, rest in peace to the man. How old do we think Robert Pattinson is? I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shoot.
31.
35.
31 from Andrew, 35 from Steven. Who do you think is closer to the number? Do you think Steven busted?
I think I busted.
You
Actually,
busted?
I think I'm under. Actually, I think he's a little older. I think he's like 37.
Edgar, what do you
I
think?
said 35.
I don't know.
Think you busted?
I
All right,
hope he busted.
Mr. Robert Pattinson is 36 years old.
Oof.
Oh, Steven, you got the point. Andrew, you're down 2. There's 2 left. Okay.
Let's
I can
go.
only tie.
I need you to try your best here, my friend. Okay.
I'm going to. I'm not good at this.
Is this my calling? Is this what I was put on
This is-
earth for
this
to
is-
do?
This has been your best performance in the game yet.
I know,
Ever.
man.
Ever.
I need a redemption after that Jack Skellington thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still got to keep
definitely.
going
This-
for that.
Yeah, that polls. I still look like I'm winning, but the only person to vote
Ever
was my
since-
mom. So
Ever since then, you're on a Warner Brothers DC run and just flop after flop, you know. So, next up on the
thanks,
list
Matt, for not holding back.
is Letitia Wright, Miss Black Panther, the new Black Panther. Shout out Shuri. Letitia Wright. How old do we think Letitia Wright is?
all right.
Okay, we'll keep to Marriott on it. I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
28.
27.
Come
Gentlemen,
on. man.
Gentlemen,
I
same
said it
time.
right as you went.
same time. Okay, not
Oh
not
my
a
god.
delayed response.
All right. I'll change mine then. Let me change.
No,
Can I change
don't
mine
change
then?
it. Don't change it. You're locked in now. Okay, because Andrew got the point
That means I
anyway.
got the point.
Yeah, it just. She's 29 years old. All right, 29 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to say 24, 27.
Yeah, I
that's where I
originally
got.
was gonna go young, but then I was like, no, she's gonna be older.
Yeah, she seems really young.
Yeah, she does.
Older than she seems for sure. Okay, so last but not least, Andrew can only tie still. So Steven, it's yours.
Unless you want this one to be worth 2. Final one.
No, I'm good. You need to get remembered.
Steven needs a dub, remember?
I need a dub. I need a win.
All right.
Is it tie a dub?
Yeah, I get remembered in the history books.
It's not a loss. Say that much. So this one, it could be tough or it could not, depending on how you see this person. But Mr. Freddie Mercury himself, Mr. Robot, Rami Malek. How old do you think Rami Malek is? What else is he in? Night at the Museum.
He's in a lot.
He's the Pharaoh. Igaboo, that guy. He's in.
He
Amsterdam,
also was in a season of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
He's coming out in Oppenheimer, coming to a summer near you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
He was also in Twilight. No,
007.
Breaking Down. He's in Breaking Down. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 007.
I think he was a lesser character in that, but yeah, I think you're right.
So Rami Malek. I'm gonna give you guys 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lock it in.
30.
35.
Oh, wow, you guys went super low for the record. So Andrew
Really?
has tied it. Yeah, Andrew did tie it.
How?
Rami Malek is 41 years old.
What?
41. Yeah, that's why I said, like, depending on how you view him, he can seem really young to you, or he can seem spot on. But I
think it's because he started at an older age when I first met him. You know what I mean?
Or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just assumed that he was younger.
I feel like that's how Pedro Pascal is, though, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you
The
know?
reason I know Pedro's older is because they were just talked about it.
Rami Malek is in Legends of Korra.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Not Avatar.
Avatar. Yeah. Well, that's that
was pretty good, actually.
Off the wall flag game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I enjoyed it. I would like to play that again. To be honest with you, I thought that was
I would
good.
play that again too.
And we should just do
like incorporations of like, how old is this movie? How old is this TV? Or like, how old is this video game?
Yeah, so we're getting into a territory now, I think, with games where we can start recycling all the ones you played before, but with like different kinds of things. So like you said right now, like that. I think like the draft thing, we can do like cool drafts, like draft like the best named object, like a spoon. Like, is the spoon, the name of the spoon is represent what a spoon is.
Object off the top of the head, boob.
Yeah, boob is a good one.
That is a great one.
Another idea I had for the draft was like
we can talk off air about this though. Let's wrap this up. We're gonna have to hit 2 hours.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything just to close us out, or should we just say sayonara? See you next week.
I have one thing. Please like, subscribe,
share,
comment, rate.
Get your friends,
drop
family
a
to
follow.
watch, listen.
Yeah, please. And if you're still in here, even if it's my mom or my aunt, whoever's in here, Matt's mom and aunt, please share it to whatever you have. Tell your homies about it. And also, too, if you come up with any games, come drop them in the comments. We definitely read that. We appreciate everybody in here. If you say something funny that makes us get off topic, we'll bring you up on screen. We appreciate you guys. God bless. And you can sign us out, Andrew.
All right. Well, that is our show for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, participating, leaving comments. We will see you all next week.